Dear Wesley, people talk about turning 30 like it's the beginning of the end. Your back starts hurting, everything goes downhill. Enjoy your 20s while you can, they say. But after turning 30 myself, I don't think they're mourning age. I think they're mourning the version of themselves that stopped growing. Because if I'm honest, 30 doesn't feel like a decline, it feels like a fresh start. Not because I'm starting over, but because I'm starting over with 30 years of experience. Imagine beginning life at zero again. Except this time, you already know what makes you happy, you know what drains your energy, you know which friendships are worth protecting, you know what kind of work gives you purpose, and you know which mistakes aren't worth repeating. That's what 30 feels like. You're still building life, but you're building it with a better blueprint. One of the biggest differences I've noticed is that I finally trust my own judgment. When I was younger, I thought experience came from getting older. Now I realize experience comes from paying attention. Every mistake became data. Every failure taught me something. Every job showed me what I wanted or what I never want to do again. The same thing happened with my health. When I was in college, I tried running and I got shin splints almost immediately. I didn't know how to train. Nobody taught me about recovery or strength training or zone training or even wearing the right shoes. So I assumed maybe running just wasn't for me. Fast forward to 30, I just completed my first half marathon. Not because I suddenly became more athletic, but because I became more informed. I learned how to train, I learned how to recover, I learned how to lift weights to support my training, how to stay consistent instead of relying on motivation. The goal didn't change, my knowledge did, and that made all the difference. I think that's one of the biggest advantages of getting older. You stop relying on hope and you start relying on experience. The same applies to almost everything. If your career isn't where you want it to be, you have years of experience telling you what to change. If your health isn't where you want it to be, there has never been more information than today. We have books, we have podcasts, and now we have AI. Growing up, I didn't know about nutrition the way I do now. I didn't understand how important exercise really was. I thought learning mostly happened in school. Now I realize learning never stops, and that's exciting. Even sports have changed the way I think about aging. Look at athletes like Tom Brady, Cristiano Ronaldo, Novak Djokovic. They didn't stay great because they ignored age, they stayed great because they adapted. They treated experience like an advantage instead of a limitation. Maybe that's the real lesson. Aging isn't your enemy, complacency is. So, future me, don't think of 30 as getting older, think of it as unlocking a new level. You still have the same dream, but now you have something your younger self didn't: perspective, experience, and the wisdom to make better decisions. Your 20s were for learning, so maybe your 30s are for applying everything that you have learned. And if that's true, then maybe life isn't slowing down at all. Maybe it's just finally beginning.